The dictionary describes awe as an emotion variously combining dread, admiration, and wonder, inspired by authority or the sacred, or perhaps even the holy. And I think in many ways that is descriptive of the resurrection, but I think there is more to it than just simply a feeling, just an emotion. That the resurrection happened to people who were completely despondent, felt themselves completely lost, and were truly in the margins of society. Remember how even the initial message of the gospel was received by shepherds, and not by the people in authority, not by the people that lived in palaces, but by the people that literally lived in the gutters. And that was the message of joy and hope that Jesus brought to everybody throughout his ministry. And in the end, when everybody expected that it was over and all of that was just a dream, suddenly it became the reality that he is risen. I think sometimes we make the mistake in our time, call it maybe a cultural arrogance that we have, that somehow people at the time of Christ were rubes, that they were uneducated, that somehow or other they were very easily led. Well, they may not have had quite the same scientific education that we have today, but there was nothing wrong with their IQs. They knew how to live life. They knew how to earn a living, difficult as it may have been. And they knew how the world worked. This is not the way the world works. People die and it's over. If you happen to be a member of a family that has suffered recently the loss of a loved one, or perhaps a change in health that has thrown everybody into a state of uncertainty, or perhaps of a larger family, a parish, or even a diocese like our own that just recently entered the process of Chapter 11 of reorganization, you may be filled with much anxiety and even doubt. Where will we go? What happens now? Is there a future? Well, then you can certainly understand exactly the position that the apostles and those women that first discovered the empty tomb encountered when they thought it was all over, that everything was hopeless and all was lost. They found out by a surprise that it was only beginning. That everything that Jesus had said about his suffering, about his death, about his crucifixion ultimately, and it reminded them again and again and again, nobody really took it to heart until it actually happened. And then suddenly, to everyone's surprise, he was alive. Make no mistake about it, all of the accounts of the resurrection are very, very physical. We see, for example, in the doubting Thomas story, about how Thomas would not believe simply because the apostles and the women told him that they had discovered and encountered the risen Christ, until he actually could see the wounds in his side and put his hands into the nail marks, put his own finger into the nail marks in Jesus' hands. Make no mistake about it, the same Jesus that died also rose in his body, glorified, and with that gave us the hope that no matter how despondent we may become, no matter how often we may be tempted by doubt and by uncertainty, that he is there with us, the risen Lord who comes for us to raise us up and to bring us not only the hope, but the reality of eternal life. My brothers and sisters, I wish you a happy and a joyous Easter. Don't stop wondering, don't stop questioning, but don't give up hope, because Jesus is with us, and he is the one that came that we may have life.